First of all, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your day, Ollie, to come on here for the Haircuts and Uppercuts podcast.
No problem.
I do have a list of questions. First of all, I wanted to get you and Nathan on to talk about the positive implications boxing has on children and adults, and the impact a boxing gym has on their wider community. And I see you're setting up a kids foundation, so like the stars have aligned for me to ask you these questions. It's the perfect time. So
well, first of all, thanks for having us on. I have been watching you guys evolve over the last couple of weeks, and it's great to see. Nathan will also be joining us periods throughout this. He's currently training I'm in the gym at the moment. He's behind me with his dad getting put through his paces as he always is, but he'll jump in and out. But yeah, I mean, it's been a strange year for the martial arts world in general. Touching on the benefits that you spoke about a moment ago of martial arts, and for us boxing in particular, it's been difficult and challenging to get those benefits out to the community, to our members, to the younger generation in our town. But if there's one thing it has done, it's taught us to be creative and improvise in doing that, and we have found ways to do that in accordance with the restrictions and the guidelines that have been put in place over the last year. The foundation is something that is a big part of that for us. It's something, and Nathan's just turned up as I'm talking, eating an ice cream as he does. But no, the foundation for us has been something that's been on our minds from day one, even before we took the keys to the building. Although we've had the gym for coming up to a year in March, people forget we've had the brand for 3 years now. Yeah. It wasn't an overnight click of the finger. All of a sudden, we've got a gym. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of traveling, a lot of competing, a lot of time, a lot of dedication from the kids in particular that train with us. And the foundation was or something along the lines of that was on our mind from day one, in terms of finding a way and using the brand to, be a positive influence on the community, and not just in a boxing and a martial arts sense, but, what could we use the high, I hope I don't sound arrogant when I say this, but the high profile of the brand to pump back into the community and use it in positive ways. And, we've been talking for a long time about ways that we could certainly generate income. We do a lot of charity work anyway, but the foundation was kind of a next step and a no-brainer, rather than raising money for individuals, raising money throughout the year by our kids, by our members, by me and Nathan, by the gym, to pump into one central fund. And then we could really take our time to think about what causes we wanted to put that towards and pump it into. So yeah, 4 times a year that fund will be used to donate to anybody that we feel strongly about, or any organization we feel strongly about, or anyone that's in need at that particular time.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. And there's a lot of people in situations where they can help, and they don't. So it's brilliant that you're utilizing your platform. It's not arrogance. If you're using your platform to better somebody else's life, then that's the opposite of arrogance, surely, isn't it?
The thing is, with a lot of it is a lot of the other not say gyms, but a lot of people in general, especially around this area, everybody likes to talk about, I want to help, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then all of a sudden they get the backing to do it, yet you don't see nothing. You see people disappear and run off into the sunset with people's money, in theory. And like for me and Ollie, first time when we started like doing the knife campaign, about kids with knives, they were like, do you want some t-shirts? And we said, we don't want t-shirts. I don't want a t-shirt to say, I'm doing this. Get the kids here, get them into our gym, and let us do something with them. Because all these other people, look, like I say, I'm not pointing fingers or criticizing anybody, but a lot of people there, I want to help with this, I want to help with this, and they advertise it all, they get the business from it, but they don't see no EP, there's no end result with it. They're not actually trying to help. They end up either bridging off and running off on their own, or everything goes pear-shaped and the gym's closed down. What we're doing like I say, realistically, if you look at it logically, our gym don't make us money.
Yeah.
We are literally doing this. When me and Ollie partnered up, well, my personal view was I want to give something back to my community. For my own reasons of what I've been through in my life, I was lucky with the dad I've got and the parents I've got and how they managed to pull me away from a certain type of life to put into something positive. Now, I'm lucky enough that I've found myself now with the opportunity to help back to the community, to help the kids who are going through the same stuff that I went through, who may not have the parents around them, to pull them away from the stuff in the same direction. Like, not in a funny way, my dad was going to sting me to the fucking army.
Yeah.
I was going to army if it wasn't for him. I literally got told either I box or I go to the army. Where a lot of parents nowadays, they're trying to stick down their kids and they get told to, yeah, all right, mate, I'll do what I want to do. But I was lucky enough, yeah, to have them parents. So what me and Ollie are trying to do now, we're trying to instill that into kids from an early age. Yes, I did go off the rails, but I got pulled back in. But I want to be somebody who stops kids from going off the rails. There's no point of always letting people go over and then bring them back. Like, if you look at a lot of people's stories, everything, everybody's celebrating people being normal as such. Like normality. He was a drug addict, now he's not. He was this, and now he's not. Why let them go that far? Why not stop them before? We know the signs of how it comes. We know, not to be funny, especially in our community, you know how it works. Everybody knows how it works. It only takes, by the time you're 10, 15, you know exactly what's going on. Everybody knows what's going on. Even down to the police, they know what's going on. Everybody knows what's going on, but nobody's doing nothing. So what we've set up somewhere. If you can get them through our door, we will work with them. We have people we've worked with for months, but we don't want money from them. Even when their parents say, oh yeah, we say, no, don't worry about that. We're trying to help. We literally want to help our community. And if everybody around here did that, the community would be a lot better. Like, we look at it like, for instance, little William, who we raised the money for the little iPad to help him out. We managed to raise well over $1,000 in 2 days.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's us. We're nobodies. We are nobodies. It drives me mad because I look at a lot of the positive influences that could be around this area and a lot of the businesses that are around this area that could do what we're doing, but nobody's doing it. Why? Because everybody's about self. Everybody's like, oh, what can I get? Oh, yeah, but me, but. Truth be told, if you knew my life stories of how my life isn't smooth. It might look like that on social media, like everybody's life does. Everybody thinks, look, I sound stupid. For some reason, people think I've got money.
Yeah, but people only post their best days on Instagram, don't they?
Yeah, but that's where people get deluded, especially the younger kids. They look at things on social media, like for instance, everyone puts a picture of their car, everyone puts a picture of their good times, no one puts a picture of their bad times. No one wakes up in the morning and goes, that's my selfie today. Everyone's, let me fix this, let me tidy this, let me make this. And then when the younger kids look at it, they think that is how life is, or how life should be. So that's what they're aspiring to be like. And then because their life doesn't fit into that program, they end up going crazy with it. And then it's do or die, or I've got to do it somehow. And realistically, a normal job doesn't do that for most people. People don't want to live a humble life. Everybody wants to be, in theory, a movie star kind of living, or a singer, or a rapper, or gangster, or rude boy, loads of respect. And truth is, life isn't like that. Life isn't like that for the multitude of people. Most people haven't got that life, but everybody portrays it. And because everybody portrays it, that's what kids grab hold of. So what we want to do, we hit kids with, there's things that I do that I shouldn't do, yeah, with the kids that I do, but I'm doing it for their help. I'll turn up at their houses. Randomly if I find out they're misbehaving. If they're messing around at school or they're messing around with being cheeky to their parents, I'll turn up at the house.
But, Dominic Ingle used to do things like that, and not one boxer he trained would say a bad word about him. He had them cleaning the streets if they was naughty. And
of course,
boxing instills discipline. And like you said, people have a warped view on life because they spend too much time on social media, which I know for my 10-year-old, she started crying months ago saying we're poor because we didn't have a Lamborghini. I was like, how many of your friends have got Lamborghinis, sweetheart?
No. But like you said, it's what's portrayed.
Yeah.
But a lot of people they don't use their brain to educate the kids on, even the people who've got it. They don't take the time out to educate the kids of how they got it. Realistically, the people who've got it properly, they've worked hard for it.
Yeah.
No matter what they've done in their life, I'm not glorifying certain wrongdoings, but either which way, they've had to work hard for it. It does not come overnight. It's not, I want to be rich today and go out on the street and I'm rich. It doesn't work like that. And with everything comes certain hassles. And there's certain things you have to go through in your life to achieve certain things. And no matter who it is in what life they got, if they come out the other side and they've still got everything and they've done well for themselves, there's had to be some hard work and grind put into it. It's not just, this is what I want. If I do this and then this happens, it doesn't work like that. You have to go ups and downs. So when we get kids in here, we hit them with reality. They get a reality check. Like I said, a lot of the kids who come through our doors, truth is, they're not going to be boxers. Truth is, I'm not even training these kids to make them boxers. Yes, I teach them how to box and I teach them to look after themselves and things like that and then certain things. But it's not to make them boxers. It's to give them a perspective on life, what life is. Life is realistically being told to a certain degree what you have to do to maintain a certain type of living, to earn a certain type of money. So when kids come here, if I tell you you've got to do 20 burpees and you don't want to do it, you can leave the gym. It's not a problem. Same as if you work for me and I want you to fill out this form and you don't fill it out, you can leave if you want to leave. But no, by leaving, you're not going to get paid. And then by installing that into kids from an early age, they start to realise things and their attitude and things like that start to change towards hard work. And that is what most people don't like, hard work. Nobody likes hard work. Everybody wants a luxurious life, but nobody wants to work from it. And you have to work for it. That's what realistically what we've set out. We've set out to show kids, you can achieve anything you want if you work for it. If you don't work for it, you're not getting nothing. Simple as that. You're not going to get nothing. Everybody's got this theory in their head, somehow I'm going to be a millionaire and somehow something's going to fall on my lap, or somehow a random relative who I never knew is a millionaire and they're going to die and hand me the money. That's the thought process of every kid. They think they're a cut above the rest. Something's going to great happen for them. Truth is, no, it's not. I know people who I grew up with who still, to this day, I'm only 40 years old, I'm old. I've got people who are still sitting there waiting for this miracle.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I went through that stage when I was about 13, 14. I thought something great was going to happen with me with my football and things like that. But truth is, everybody wants that. And it doesn't work for everybody. I want everyone to be rich. Truth is, most people are day-to-day livers or poor. That's the reality of life. So if you're not willing to grind from an early age, chance of you getting, like your daughter wants a Lamborghini, she can have that if she wants it, but the work has to start from now. She has to start putting herself in the right frame of mind and have the right people around her and the right attributes for work. Yeah, where she's pushing herself forward.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you guys on it, because I know you've got the same mindset and attitude that I have towards life. I started martial arts at 7 years old. I'm 31 now. Past 10 years, I have been on and off training.
Sorry, I wouldn't have joke. You've had a hard life.
Not everyone's blessed like you, Nathan. But it's a reality check. Like I say, when you get told to do 20 burpees, you don't want to do 20 burpees, you're going to get told off. And, kids need that. And if you don't install discipline and show them that this hard work gets this result, what is there to motivate them? And that's why I think kids need boxing.
I think one of the unique things about Delic especially is Nathan Mike. in the sense that they still have those very, very old school values. And one of the reasons that me and Nathan have always worked well together is because we share those same old school values. And the world has changed a lot, you know. Half the reason that our kids' classes are as big as they are is because we've created an environment where we can install those old school disciplines and values into children that even parents don't seem to have the power to be able to do, through no fault of their own. Just the way the world's set up nowadays is that it's a very, very much a soft approach compared to how we were when we were growing up. So the environment that we've created has enabled us to, in the appropriate ways, be firmer, be harder, be more reality based of, like Nathan says, how life is going to be as you grow up. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, and it's going to be a slog. And, you know, we've created an environment where we can prepare children for that in the same way that our generation was prepared for that as we were growing up. It's not iPads and cuddles and kisses and iPhones and pocket money and everything else. You know, punishment's not the right word, but there's consequences for wrongdoings, and there's rewards, like Nathan says, for hard work, and it's as simple as that. But we have a very old school way of doing things, as you know. You've done a million of Nathan's classes yourself, and that's something will never change. And that's one of the reasons I feel that we have grown so quickly, because we've given the parents alternative to the way that they're only able to parent nowadays. You know, we've given them an opportunity to put their children in an environment that we were all in our generation when we were growing up, which was slightly tougher, which was slightly more old school, but strongly believe that it works, you know, and the results that we get from it have been superb. We never lose members, we never lose children, you know, we've only grown, and the parents are hugely appreciative of the approach we take with it as well.
Yeah, it's I honestly think that they need to bring you know, boxing back in schools or something along them lines, because you know, there is nothing like it in life that is going to teach you that hard work has a reward and success breeds success. And it works, you know. You don't have to scream and shout at people to make them better, but if you can show them, and yeah, if you have to shout to encourage someone, that's just part of life. If your coach isn't shouting at you, do they care? Or are they just there for the money?
Yeah, that's part of the problem, like I was saying earlier. Especially with a lot of the stuff that's going on at the moment. Everybody's still looking at it as a financial gain for themselves. They're thinking, oh yeah, if I do this, I can get this many members, and I turn. It's not about that. Like I say, what we're doing, I don't earn the money. We don't earn the money off the gym. The gym literally sustains itself. We say that we've had the keys for a year. We've been open 3 months.
Yeah.
So we paid for the gym for these kids to work in. But if everybody had that approach, think how good things would be. We're not in the funny way. We're 2-3 people, and we've managed to change. Yeah, it might only be a fraction of people, but that fraction, if a few people did that, imagine what could happen.
Yeah, the domino effect.
Then a few of these people start uniting, you can make something big. That spreads. Like you said earlier, positivity breeds positivity. And all it takes is a few positive minds to be steering people in the right direction and coming together. But that's one of the problems again. When people get a certain position of power, it's about themselves again. I did this, I did that, I did this, we did that. No. It's a community-based organisation that everybody benefits from. That is the only real reason we've set this up, to give back to the community. And if everybody was doing that, everybody says, oh yeah, you're doing it. But why is not everybody doing it? Like I said, between us, we raised over $1,000 in a day for one kid. Think of some of these high-profile celebrities.
Yeah.
High-profile celebrities. What could they really, if they put their shoulder to the wheel and wanted to do it, what could they raise for these kids? Like I found out recently, I was talking to somebody, and I never knew that, see, like kids, disabled children in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Do you know their parents have to buy their wheelchairs?
What?
Yeah. So not only do you have to go through the torrid time of getting told, yeah, your kid's disabled, and gives £1,500 for a wheelchair or whatever it is.
That's mad.
So that really, well, it sounds funny. The first thing with this charity thing we're doing, that's the first thing I'm reaching out for, because that's when I got told it, I could not believe. You know, like I thought the guy was joking when he told me. I thought, nah, that can't be right. They help all these other people who put themselves in crap situations and come out of it. That's what I'm saying about people celebrating normality. If someone's been a drug addict and they get off drugs, everyone's like, oh, great, look how great he's done for himself. Yes, don't get me wrong, fair play to him, he's done good. But why did he get that far?
Yeah.
Why hasn't someone stopped it before it got that far? There's kids out there who were born disabled and their parents are grieving enough for that alone, then all of a sudden they have to find money for wheelchairs and things like that. Obviously, my own opinion, I think that's a joke. I could, like I said, I thought the guy was playing when he told me. I can't think of his second name. If I think of his second name, I'll tell you his name, but I don't want to say it. And I don't remember his second name. But anyway, I was talking to somebody, and they do a lot of charity work. They've got their own illnesses that they're dealing with, and they're helping with other people with their illnesses. But it was him who told me about it. But like I said, realistically, you look at the area we're in Buckinghamshire. Not say, yeah, we're good money people, things like that. But on a whole, there's money circulating around here in businesses and things like that. If everybody put themselves together to try and help out, we can make a big, big change. And it only takes something small to start off with that expands. So all these businesses around here who say, oh, well done, oh, this, oh, that, if they put their shoulders to the wheel, a lot of them could achieve a lot more than what we can do. A lot more. If they take themselves out of the picture of trying to achieve for themselves, if they're just trying to achieve for the kids and trying to help the community. If they were just doing that, a lot would change. But like I said, that's not what happens. It starts off as that, and they probably have good intentions of that, but then it ends up on self. My life's this, my life's that, I need this, I need to try to get this. But it's not about that. If, like I say, for myself, realistically, truth be told, in my life, if I help 1-2 kids with their life, I'm happy with myself. That's enough for me. I've helped out, as far as I'm concerned. Whether I do good for my actual self, that's another shout. But if I can help 2 kids go in the right direction and steer them away from, say, a life of crime or getting themselves in certain problems, if I can help that, I will be very happy with myself. And I'm sure that Ollie feels the same about me.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. No, he's spot on. He's absolutely right. Everything he says is right.
No, and I can vouch for Nathan's attitude himself. You know, I think my first training session with Nathan, I must have been 19, 20. And after a long day of Nathan coaching, Nathan, I'm really struggling with my jab, left hook. You know, jab, fake, left hook. You probably won't remember it, but I do. You must have had me on the pads for half an hour after the gym had closed, just drilling that jab, fake, left hook. And, you know, you wasn't getting paid any extra for that. You know,
Did I do that for you?
Yeah.
You owe me 20 quid.
Do you know what though, Luke? And I'll say this, and I won't talk about specific stories because Nathan does things for his own reasons. But genuinely, it is funny because you know, if you don't know Nathan or Mike, you know, you see what you see on social media, which is always positive stuff. But you know, he's the professional boxer, and he's, you know, the photos of him training and everything else. It looks very you know, monster-like in terms of how he goes about things. But me personally, I would never work or be close with people that didn't have good values and good morals and did things for the right reasons. And some of the things I've seen Nathan do off of his own back over the years has been inspiring to me. Like I said, I won't talk about specific stories because he does them for his own reasons, not for everybody to know about. But I mean, it would amaze you, some of the stuff that I've seen him do financially and for people, and you know, changing lives is an understatement for the stuff that he's done, and his dad as well. So yeah, not everything's for publicity. Obviously, we pump certain things out because we want more people to be aware of the brand, and we want to be able to help more people. But a lot is done in this gym without people knowing about it.
But no, it's the same. It's the same thing. Like what Ollie's saying about not publicising it for my own, like to lift myself up. There's two ways of doing things. Like there's some people, like for instance, one of the things that annoys me, like for instance, when people at the moment where they don't get me wrong, nice gesture. They see a homeless person, they go and buy them food. Why do you need to record you walking over to them, giving them the food, putting it in their hand, watching them cry? And don't get me wrong, there's two ways of doing it. There's doing it like that for yourself, so everyone says, oh, he's a great person, look what he's done. Or there's to inspire other people. And the only person who knows really what's in your chest of why you posted it is God alone.
Yeah.
If you've done it for the right reasons, which really see the right reasons is to inspire other people, fair play. That's great. That's lovely. Fair play to you. You get ratings for that. But a lot of people, if you look at it properly, they're doing it for their own gains again. They're doing it so they say, oh, remember that time I give this, or remember the time I done this, or remember that time I helped this person, and oh, I didn't need to do this. But once again, it's about them. Same thing like I was saying about when kids come through the door and all these crime stuff. They do it for their own image. They're not doing it to inspire others to think, oh yeah, if I post this, then someone else can see it and think, oh yeah, I can do that as well, or I can do that as well. Oh yeah, it's only a little gesture, but I can do that as well. Which then, once again, helps the community. Yeah, everybody binds together and everybody can help everybody. If everybody did that, poor people charity wouldn't need to be given because everybody would have. If everybody helped everybody, it'd be easier life. But once again, self-gain. Why has he got? I should have. Oh, I've worked harder than him. I've done this. I should have that. He don't deserve that. He's this. He's that. That's how life is. And you'll find a lot of the time that's your own friends. Yeah. Your own friends are saying that behind your back. Yet to your face, they're yeah, I'll take me out to dinner. But behind your back, they're chatting rubbish about it. They're chatting rubbish saying, oh, look at this. He thinks he's bad. He's this. He's that. He's this and that. So, like I said, there's two reasons why people do things: either to inspire others, which in other words, you're doing it for God's cause, you're doing it to inspire others and to show a right path, or you're doing it over arrogance to show off. And at the end of the day, it's easy to say out my mouth, yeah, I'm doing it to help out. But the proof is God. God knows what's in your heart at the end of the day. He knows whether you're lying or whether you're deceiving or whatever you're doing, God knows. And God don't sleep. So when you're doing it, you know why you're putting that forward and the reason behind why you're putting it forward. And if it's not for the right reason, there's going to be a consequence to play, I'm sure.
Yeah. And what are the changes you see in the kids, you know, after they've been at the gym, like the shift in their mindset? You know, I think a lot of parents would be interested in that, that haven't sent their kids to boxing yet.
Yeah, we've had kids who realistically, well, even just down to the story on BBC News, we talk about little Holly. She was a nightmare. She used to go to school, she'd be arguing with teachers, throwing chairs at teachers, trying to fight, trying to everything. She's gone from that to a star pupil, getting awards, sports awards, behavior awards, things like that. So we literally managed to turn her from negative to positive in what, year?
Yeah.
About a year. That's all it took us with her. And obviously we had ups and downs like you do in anything. But realistically, every kid's a good kid. Every kid's a good kid. It's just what time people are willing to put into them. If you put the right time into anybody, you get the results.
I think one of the other things we've managed to do as well is, as I said earlier on, give the parents tools to be able to manage the children effectively at home. I think, you know, one of the things that we try and do that maybe sets us apart from other, not just boxing gyms, but martial arts gyms or any kind of kids environment, is we take a keen interest of what they're doing at home. you know, especially people that represent our brand, fight team, go out and compete with the Delict name in their back. We want to know how they're doing at school. We want to know if they're behaving at home. We want to know they've done their homework and they're being respectful to people, and, you know, they've got manners and everything else that comes along with, you know, growing up properly. So we actively seek information from parents to ensure that they're doing all of those things. And if they're not, as I say, I don't, yeah, there's consequences, and the consequences are appropriate, of course, but consequences that we know are going to ensure that they change what they're doing. And I think, again, like Nathan said earlier on, it goes back to us caring enough to be active with it. It's all well and good saying, you know, everyone should behave, everyone should do this. Okay, but as adults, what are we doing about it? Are we taking the time to make sure that they're doing everything correctly, or are we being lazy and giving them an iPhone and an iPad and, you know, shutting off and doing our own thing on our own phone?
Some of my kids in my fight team, if they do not listen and they're up too late at night, I'm going to their houses to take their computers off them.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
If they're not listening or trying to do these late night breaks where they stay up all night playing on the computer, I'll go to the house and take their computer. And if it carries on, I'll take their phones. And because of the tight environment we've got with the parents will not stop me. The parents will let me do it, because in the long run, it's helping their kids. Having kids sat in front of a screen all day is not being a parent.
No, it's not healthy at all for their mental development.
No.
I don't let my kids sit on computers all day. And when I tell them to get off, if they don't get off, it gets unplugged.
Exactly. But a lot of parents, that's part of like why we're doing what we're doing, because a lot of parents, they haven't got the power over the kids to be able to restrain them in that direct like way, like forcefully, I take it away. Kids end up trying, sounds funny, we've had kids through the door who try and fight their parents. And like, yeah, I'd fight my parent. I'm like, what? And then I have to talk to them properly, and I've had parents I had to talk to before. I've had kids come through the door and I'm training them, and then they say, I can't remember her name. They'll be like, "Oi, Claire, pass the water." And I'm looking like, who's Claire? My mum. I was like, pardon? And I had to drag the kid across the gym, and I had to explain to him in front of his mum why we call them mum and dad, the sign of respect. And even the mum was like, oh, no, it's all right, it's all right. It's not all right. It is not all right. And the worst thing was, as it was happening, I was telling them like what would happen to me if I went, yeah, Michael. But anyway,
even now,
my dad walked through the door just as I was explaining it to her. And I said, watch this. I said, Michael, do me a favor. And if you see the look he gave me, like he was about to cut my throat in front of everybody, and I had to say, no, I'm joking. But I, like literally proof on the spot, I'd say to her, like, that's part of respect of parents. And if you haven't got respect for your own parents, how are you expecting your kids to respect anybody else out on the street? That is why a lot of kids have the problems they have in life. Not even in a bad way. Kids having kids is part of the problem, because kids having kids, they say that the thing that comes out of their mouth, I hear all the time, I want to be a friend to my kid. I want my kid to be able to talk to me. Don't get me wrong. That is lovely. It is a lovely thought. But if I talk to my friends, I can speak how I want. So once I've built that relationship with my parents, I can talk to them how I want, because me and them are on the same level. How old am I? I'm 38 years old. If you think I can just stand in front of my dad and say, you're mad, he'll punch me in my mouth.
Yeah.
Even now, if I want to swear in front of my dad, I have to apologize primarily or after. Sorry for my language, but blah, blah, and explain what I'm saying and then say sorry again. If I sat there and started effing and blinded in front of my dad, he'll punch me clean in my mouth. Same with my mum. But that's the level of respect I've got for my parents. But like I said, nowadays, kids grow up with their parents without that level of respect. They're friends. They want to be friends to their kids. At the end of the day, if you're a friend to your kid, don't get me wrong, a few people can be friends and parents. But if you build a friend relationship primarily, then try and get a parent relationship, it's not really going to happen. Well, this is my opinion. A parent's job is to be a parent. Full stop. If after you're a parent to your kid, you can be friends together, lovely. If you can't, at least you was a parent. At least you tried to steer them in the right direction. If you've just got that hold on them, have that. Rather, but nowadays, like I said, you got kids having kids, and they want, I can talk to my parents. I want my kid to be able to talk to me. So, we're best friends. BFFs, and all this rubbish. They build up a friend's relationship, and then because the kid and the adult think they're on the same level, as soon as the parent says, "Do this now," they're like, "You do it," and you're his brethren. So what can you tell him? That's true, though. You're his brethren. If you're his friend, my friend's trying to tell me something to do, I'll do it if I want. And if I don't, I won't. Full stop. If I don't feel like doing it, I am not doing it. If my mum and dad tell me to do something, even at my age, I'm doing it. Because there's consequences to pay. The same as if I'm in a job and my boss tells me to do something, you got to do it. Otherwise, there's consequences to pay.
And I'll say this. Actually, I think one of the positives, and Mike plays a big part in this gym. You know, he's not as active coaching wise as he used to be, but he has a different type of input now. But I think one of the important things is people can physically see how we are with Mike and the respect we show to Mike as someone of an older, wiser generation. So because they see the way that we respect him and the way we treat him, the handshaking, like Nathan says, apologizing before, you know, using any foul language, and make sure that we're respectful and everything that comes along with it, people watch how we are with him and then they mimic it with their own parents. And also Mike does lecture us for hours. Hours.
I've had a hard one. If you get the lecture, bruv, oh my.
I'll tell you this one. He had us up in a commercial gym, right? Wasn't even our gym.
We took over the whole changing room. No one would come in the changing room, bro. For about 2.5 hours. For about 2.5 hours, we had the whole male changing room locked down. Nobody would come in there.
And he was destroying us for about 2 hours, and it wasn't even our gym.
It wasn't even our gym.
He sealed the place off.
We went into someone else's gym and took over the whole changing room. No one was allowed in there.
But yeah, it's but no, the respect thing to the older generation. You know, everyone has their pecking order in life, and it's just the way that it is. And you need to be respectful of that. And like I say, I think people seeing how respectful we are, and especially to Nathan being his son, it rubs off for sure. Do you have questions, by the way? We're just talking about ourselves.
Yeah, I do have a couple more questions. Like, to be honest, you've covered most of them. What impact do you think martial arts or boxing could have on a 25-year-old or 30-year-old wanting to get into it now? No ambitions of competing, but you know, there's the keep fit side to it.
Myself personally, I didn't really start boxing until I was about 19, 20. I didn't take it serious till I was about 21. Like I said, my dad literally kidnapped me off the streets and offered me to box properly or go to the army. They were my choices. I had to make my decision on the spot. So what I've noticed is a lot of the kids around mid-20s, things like that, who I can get in the gym, I can calm them down. That is a lot of it is learning to channel your aggression into something positive. Anybody can be destructive. Anybody can go uptown, get drunk, and have a fight. It's not hard to attain. But coming to a gym and using it positively makes a big difference. Then on top of that, once you realise, like for instance, not in a funny way, everybody thinks they can fight. You've never walked up to someone and said, and they're like, "Bruv, sorry, I'm a bit of a pussy." Everybody can fight. So then, once they come into the gym and they experience part of what real fighting is, it changes your perception on it, on going out and getting into fights. Me personally, as dumb as it sounds, in my life, I've probably had about 4 fights. That's the truth. Since I started boxing, I haven't even had a fight. Yeah. I have no interest in fighting an everyday person. That might sound boastfully or not. I have no interest in fighting somebody who hasn't actually trained to fight, because just something simple like throw in a correct punch. When you see the people who come to the gym who supposedly can fight, a lot of them can't do that. That's why you'll find a lot of people go out, they get into tear-ups, and what do they get from it realistically? Sore hands. They don't know how to execute a proper punch, let alone look after themselves. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like they can't fight or they're not up for a fight or nothing like that. But when they get the realistic changeover and they see what a trained fighter can do to a normal person, like when they first come to the gym, a lot, especially like mid-20s and things like that, I normally glove them up, put my gum shield in, put my gloves on, and I say to them, listen, show me what you've got. And I say to them, if you can knock me out, that's my fault. I won't even hit you back. Go for it. Knock yourself out. Within the first 30 seconds, they realised the change of punching someone drunk uptown to trying to punch someone who can actually fight. Not saying I'm a great fighter or I'm anything. I'm not saying nothing like that. But the reality check of a normal person drunk uptown, to me, it's a big change. A very big change. When you're throwing punches and you're not hitting nothing and you're seeing that I could do a lot to you, and then you fight for about 30 seconds and you've got nothing left in the tank. Yeah, I haven't even punched you. That is one of the biggest reality checks you get off a lot of people. Then once people experience that, a lot of people, they do it, and they stop, and then they say, thank God I haven't got into a fight. That's normally the reaction I get. Thank God I haven't got into a fight because I thought I would be able to do it.
Yeah, it's eye-opening experience for people that have that lesson, because like I said, everyone, especially early 20s, they think they're hard. I know from when I was 16, I was in all the local papers. I was the English and British Taekwondo champion, and kids my age then wanted me to go and come and beat up this guy. Why would I want to? One,
yeah,
they could have a knife, they could have anything. Two, what am I going to get from it other than arrested, in trouble? What's the point?
That's what you end up looking at. Like me, for me to get into a fight, someone would have to put their hands on me. That's the truth. Talk, everybody can talk. If somebody's got the, not say guts, but if somebody's up that high that they want to try and put hands on me, then you'll see if I can fight or if I can't fight. But apart from that, I'm not interested in reputation or punching people up or trying to think I'm something.
But that's an interesting point that you two are both making there, is in the sense that when you're growing up, your priorities tend to be reputation for anybody, whatever means that's there. Everyone wants to be the popular kid. Everybody wants the girls to like them or whatever. But trying to make the kids understand, especially recently with the knife crime and the gun crime in certain areas and everything else, that fighting, boxing aside, I'm talking street fighting is not an achievement. Stabbing someone is not an achievement. Shooting someone and going to prison is not an achievement. In the same way that women getting naked on the internet is not an achievement. Getting naked on Instagram is not an achievement. These are not things that are an achievement. And trying to give people the idea and the reality that, achievements look like so many different things, and you can gain confidence in life doing so many different things. We just use boxing. Winning a boxing match or training for a boxing match shows people that's an achievement. That's something they could be proud of. But like Nathan said earlier, there's so many influential people in the world that can use whatever art form they're in, whether it's even singing, rapping, whatever it is, that can be used as a positive influence.
Rappers,
Nathan can't rap.
Have you heard? I will boss of days. Nah, but honestly, like growing up, even when I used to mess around, I never got myself in trouble. I was on the edge to get myself in trouble. But my thing was, if someone ever approached my mum and spoke about me, she should be able to smile. That was my main thing. When someone spoke about me to my mum, she should smile. She should not be hanging her head in shame because of me. She worked as hard as she worked to bring me up. And for me now to let her down to where people are slating me and she can't even back me or argue for my case because it's true. That is the most embarrassing thing I could think of ever doing. Like me, how I am and how my head works sounds stupid. Put me in prison, it wouldn't bother me. Routine, training, food, sleep, that's enough. I'm cool with that. Truth is, don't get me wrong, primarily freedom would do my head in. After a while, I'll come accustomed to it. That's how my life is. That's me. Just to know that my mum would cry is why I wouldn't do it. That would be, I wouldn't even care for my dad. Sounds bad, as bad as it is, as much as he's done for me. I wouldn't care for him. I wouldn't care for my brother. Obviously now my kid I would, and my mum. Apart from that, for myself, oh, don't bother me. Everybody else around me doesn't bother me. But when somebody says my name to my mum, she should be able to sit back and say, I brought him up. Yeah, that I'm part of that. Not, oh God, what has he done now? Like, how heartbreaking is that? Somebody who worked, well, my mum worked 2-3 jobs at certain stages of her life to bring me up and to show me certain things, to give me certain values. And for me to go and destruct that and be an embarrassment to her. I'll be honest, not that I would, but I couldn't, my family wouldn't let me walk around. Sounds bad, my family wouldn't let me walk around. My old man wouldn't let me walk around if I was doing it, put myself in them avenues or of a life where my mum's embarrassed by me. When my name's mentioned, my mum's like, no, I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear.
Yeah. Every parent wants to be able to be, proud of their child, even when their child grows up to be an adult.
Yeah.
Obviously, we live in Aylesbury. Your business is in Aylesbury. Aylesbury is a very multicultural place, and I know from my kids, they go to school. It's kids from everywhere in the school. It's great. I am a military kid. I went to school in Cyprus. I only went to school with people who look like me. So one of my favorite life lessons from not martial arts per se, but more through training in boxing, especially in Aylesbury, you get to meet people from different backgrounds, different, not just backgrounds of, he's Christian, he's Muslim, he's Jewish, etc. But people from every walk of life you could imagine, and you learn you're all the same.
This is important to us. So for starters, the brand itself, we always make sure it's marketed. The doors are open for everybody and anybody. The two people running it are a white boy with no religion and a Muslim. In itself shows diversity, and I think, I had this conversation with someone when the Black Lives Matter movement and the demonstrations were happening, and racism obviously is still a problem, and I would never ever try and talk about a subject that I have no experience in. I've never experienced racism. I don't know the pain it causes personally because I've never been there, so I would never judge or even pass comment on anybody that has any kind of view or feels strongly about it. But what I would say is this: for me, demonstrations, although mean well, are lazy. Again, for me, get to the children, because nobody is born racist. It's inherited, it's learned behavior. For me, it's educating children early that we're all the same. It's educating people to respect different religions, different views, different mindsets. It's teaching people to accept that early, that not everybody's the same. Not even about religion and race. Everybody thinks differently. Everybody believes differently.
Respect
everybody
other people's point of view.
Yes, respecting other people. For me, that's another job that it takes adults to do with the children. It has to be the adults that pass on that knowledge and experience and wisdom to make children understand that.
Like they say, you can't put wise head on young shoulders.
No, you can't. But
it's not going to happen. But by having the right people influencing the children from an early age, it can happen. And then from generation to generation, it can get passed down that everything's an open book. And then once that starts happening, things are a lot easier. Instead of people being segregated and put in certain chapters like, oh, this is for you, this is not for you, this is for you, this is not for you. That's for them. That's not life. Everything realistically in the whole world is for everybody. You only pick and choose certain things through the influences of what you grow up around and things you go through in your life. That's what changes your opinion on certain things. But primarily, everybody's a blank canvas. So by being everybody a blank canvas, if you can try and keep that as white as possible for them as they go through the early stages of life, by the time they get to their mid-teens, they're already open. Like for me growing up, I grew up around everybody. Even down to say Ellesbury is such how it is now, don't get me wrong, now it's starting to find its own little communities, like, for instance, Asians, blacks, whites, Eastern Europeans, whatever. Everybody's starting to segregate now. But me growing up, I mixed with everybody. Like I'm on court, we'd go to another estate, and if we got into a fight, it's our estate versus their estate. It's not the blacks versus the whites or the Asians versus the Chinese. It wasn't like that. It was your friends are your friends. That's it. Where now it's starting to segregate, like how, for instance, like how London and the bigger cities are, where it's small communities posted together. It's starting to, don't get me wrong, inevitably it'll probably happen around here. But it's been a slower process around here because a lot of us have mixed. Like my whole generation of what I grew up around, at my age, I can only think of about 3 or 4 edgy racist people who have passed through my life. Like within my community, don't worry, I've seen other things and been experienced other things. But in my actual community, I've only experienced about 3, 4 little people, and realistically, because they were so small, insignificant.
It goes back to what you said earlier on, when Nathan was touching on the point earlier about being proactive rather than reactive. Not waiting for people to cross a line before you try and rein them back in. And again, I go back to obviously last summer, sorry. It was after what happened in America, racism came to the fore again. But for me, it's why aren't the children being educated early as standard? Why does it have to wait for something to happen, something bad to happen for us to start talking about it and educating children? Why are we not doing it as standard anyway? Because as Nathan says, you can see it in the community, even without a major incident going off, you can see segregation from time to time. We've always made a point in our gym that it's never going to be that way, and everybody mixes perfectly in our environment. But the minute they step out the doors, obviously we can't control what happens on the streets. So it's definitely a question I have, in the sense that why aren't people proactively working with kids on this specific subject right from the get-go as standard?
It's
always
the same thing in anything. Education is the key. Simple as that. Education is the key, and we need people in the community to educate. Simple as that. Don't get me wrong, it's not like you have to go into a classroom or you have to come to a gym to learn. There's day-to-day things that people learn off. Like, funny as it is, I'm driving to go and see my boy Saturday. I'm driving down the road, I see some woman parked up by the side of the road, flat tire. So I stopped, reversed, turned around, come back. I said to her, "Are you all right?" She was like, "I can't do it." Oh, that's right, I'm waiting for my son to come. I said, "Don't be stupid, I'll do it." She was like, "Oh, that's very nice of you." I said, "It's not nice of me, because if my mum broke down, I would hope that some younger lad would stop and help her." So, same thing I was saying about educating, that's educating. She's probably looked at me pull up, BMW, big, bald head, thinking, "Oh my God," not in the funny way, probably trying to rob me. But even when I first offered, she was edgy, like, "Oh, no, it's okay. My son's coming, it's not a problem." I said, "Don't be so stupid. It's only a wheel. I'll do it for you, not a problem." By the time he turned up, I'd finished it. And then just happened, I ended up talking to him, and he ended up, he boxes with the Britannia boxing lot, who obviously are with us anyway. But he's done a lot of training with them. But I saw on her face that she was shocked to a certain degree that I stopped, went out of my way to help her out.
And then after he did all that, Boris turned up, gave him £1,000 fine, And
Tommy's no
help around here. It's fine, it's cool.
But yeah, just I'd like to thank you both for your time today.
Pleasure.
And I would like to say to anyone, I say to my clients all the time when they say they've got their kids want to try boxing, but they don't want them to go, they're scared from getting hurt. Your kid will not get hurt at a boxing gym. That's the last
Our
thing.
kids, right, primarily start with this. Unless your kids want to jump in the ring and put gloves on and punch somebody and get punched, they don't have to. Down at our gym, our normal classes, no contact. There's no contact in our normal classes. We run our classes, technique, discipline, full stop. That is what our classes are. If you want to compete and punch people in the head, that's why we have a fight team. And once you join the fight team, certain rules change for you. Certain things in your life have to change for you. Because, like I said, we as coaches ourselves pulled the netting very tight on our kids. Like I said, we know what our kids do at school, what they do at home, and what they do at the gym. And if any of them are out of sync, there's consequences. But like I said, then we tell them the rules of joining the fight team. That's their choice. They know they're going to get punched in the head. That's their choice. But like we say, normal kids who come to our gym, there's no contact at all. Yeah, like I said, there's no contact with our children. Everybody comes. The more they get into it, the more they learn. If they themselves want to and their parents agree with it, then they can. If they're edgy about it or their parents are not interested in them having contact, it's not a problem. It makes no difference. They can still come and train here, still big smiles from everybody. It makes no difference. It's literally down to the individual.
Well, I'm glad we managed to fit that statement in, because I've told so many people, if your son or daughter wants to do it, just send them, and their worry is they're going to get hurt. And they never believe me when I say that is not the point of going to a boxing gym.
No.
But they've had it from the horse's mouth now, so...
Don't come a horse.
Sorry.
Otherwise I'll come to your house, bro. But now,
no, we appreciate as well.
We appreciate your time
as well. Yeah,
like I say, we appreciate the time that everybody's given to us, especially over the last year or so, especially during all this lockdown stuff. We've had a lot of support from the community and the people and the parents and even the kids themselves. Everybody's like melded in and tried to help where they can. And like I say, hopefully, God willing, we can keep doing what we're doing. And hopefully we will expand as a brand. And hopefully, like I say, there's two types of people. There's ones who do it to show off, and there's ones who influence others to do the same. And I hope and I pray to God that my heart is clean, that we are doing it for the right reasons and we get the right results for it.
And I can only echo that sentiment.
Thank you very much, both of you. I think
Thank you.
brilliant.